Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about making your first cinematic in Unreal Engine. Today I'm going to be going through how to make your own landscape material and I'm going to touch on how to populate your scene and how to do your lighting and how to properly take your shots. And today I have here with me Suchit.
Hey everyone,
Okay, let's get started.
let's get started.
Okay, let's create a map. Call it. Okay, I'm just going to add the basic lighting setup. Oh, my bad. Okay, let's create a landscape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a image for the landscape, a height map. You can get your height map from a website called 10gram from here. You can actually grab a height map from real world data. I found that this works better. You can from here you can render your render which part that you want. Just like you can multiply the resolution from here and just hit render is going to render out the portion that you're seeing on the screen.
Hey,
And
can I? I
yeah,
was interrupting you. Can I use different height map?
yeah, you can use different height maps. You can also go to um you can also go to Gaia or a world generator. I think those are
Okay.
two very good software where you can actually make your own landscape using nodes. For reference, just check out world machine. So yeah, this is world machine. You can create your custom worlds from here. You can get a height map.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the same thing. It's a node based approach to making the landscape layouts. So just like this in this video. But I'm just going to keep this simple for today. We're just going to use a actual height map from Google Earth, I guess. Uh, all right, let's get started. Okay, I'm just going to. This is the one. Okay, so as you can see, this is a pretty big map. You can see the resolution here is almost 8 kilometers by 8 kilometers. So you can choose your own size. What I'm going to do is the height seems to be, yeah. So I'm just going to tone down the height. I'm just going to set to 15, then hit import. Then this should import a landscape. Yeah, as you can see, this brought in a landscape for us where you can place our characters and make a cinematic. So first things first, this landscape needs a material. So let's create one. Just, just going to make a folder called landscape material. I'm just going to create a new material called m underscore landscape. In here, we're just going to take the use material attributes, and from here, just going to search for make material attributes and just plug this in. And we're going to need some textures for this. So I recommend you go to Megascans for real life captures. I already brought a few in. What you can do is just go to the window and open up Quixel Bridge, just like this, and you can bring in the assets from here. I chose these three for now for my for the cinematic that I'm going to do. So yeah, so in here these are going to show up like this. You can check this. Also quickly, I'm just going to go over the maps. This is the albedo map, and this is the normal, and this one is the ORD map. So O stands for occlusion, R stands for roughness, and D stands for displacement. So occlusion is packed into the red channel, and roughness is packed into the green channel, and displacement is packed into the blue channel. So this is really useful because you can pack three alpha textures into one image. So yeah, you can save a lot of space there. Okay, I'm just going to bring these in. So I'm just going to connect this normal, this to the occlusion, roughness. We're not going to be using net displacement for this project, so we're just not going to use the displacement map. So okay, and I'm just going to add in a landscape layer coordinate. With that, I'm just going to bring in a multiply and a append vector, just like this. I'm just going to promote it to a variable size x. Copy this and rename it to size y. So what this append node does is this separates the x-axis and the y-axis from the textures, so you can control them separately. So I'm just going to put a default value of 1 here. I'm just going to hook up all these to the UV channel. All right. Okay, let's test this out. Also, we're going to be creating a material instance so we can control our size from here. So just like this. I'm just going to drag and drop the material onto here. All right. As you can see, we can see a lot of repetition going on here, and also there's a little bit of stretch going on. Let's fix the stretch. So it's always a good practice just to bring in a human reference so you know what size you're going for. So I'm just going to bring in a mannequin from here. I mean, this size looks okay. Let's make it just a little bit bigger.
This is inside of the material.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's fix the repetition that we have here. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to search for gold here, and you should have this gold material here. And if you don't see this material here, what you can do is just go to this add button and click on add a feature or content pack. Click on content, add the starter content, click on add to project, and you're going to see this gold material. So we're just going to copy this macro texture, macro variation texture, and just going to copy this into my landscape so I have a little bit of variation. So what I'm going to do is just add a multiply like this, connect this. So you're already going to see that it's breaking up the texture and making it a lot less repetitive. So you can see it added these splotches right here. Alright, moving on. We can add multiple textures to make it more varied. So let's do that because you can still see some repeating patterns. So let's just get rid of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in a linear interpolate. So what this node is going to do is just going to interpolate between two image textures. You can connect a image texture from here to the A and another image texture to the B, and then you can add a alpha texture that is going to be blending these two textures between the black and white points of that texture. All right, so let's just bring in our second texture from Megascans. I'm just going to use this grass one. Just going to put it here, connect it to B and connect this to A, just like this. And I'm also going to connect this UV here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many textures I can add into one material?
Well, this is up to you, but there is a limit to it. It actually depends on your texture size. So sometimes when you add bunch of different textures to one material, it might not load up. So what you can do is go to the sampler source and change this to shared wrap. Then it's going to then it's actually going to load up. So yeah. So, but I don't really know how many textures you can load up, but from my experience, you can load a bunch of textures together. So I didn't find an issue. So yeah. All right. Let's bring in another lerp for normal, and then for ORD. Let's do this. Let's just connect this. My bad. Connect this to our roughness. We're just going to be doing the rough for the roughness. Right. Bring in the normal and bring in the ORD. Just going to use the green channel because we just want the roughness. And the normal, just like that. And I'm going to hook up our size controls to this as well. Uh, I'm going to quickly tell you this is not like the only way of creating a landscape material. There are multiple ways of it, but I'm just making it this way just to keep it simple. You can actually use different materials to create pathways and paint it separately on separate layers, but I'm just going to keep it simple for this project. Okay, for the alpha now we need a texture. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to search for Berlin, and this is actually a noise map, Berlin noise map. So I think the A channel is going to be the white part, and the darker parts are going to be shown as the B channel on the LARP. So,
Sorry to interrupt. What is this noise map? What this thing does?
so we use noise maps to break up textures. So in this case, the value of white is 1 and the value of black is 0. And what the LARP is going to do is just going to create a mask between those white points and those dark points, and is going to blend these two textures between the dark values and the white values, and then we're going to get a texture that is pretty seamless.
I get it now.
All right, let's just hook this up. And I want to control this slurp separately, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this landscape texture coordinate, and I'm just going to add a multiply this, promote this. I'm just going to call it blurb size, give it a default value of 1. Alright, we should be good to go for our material. Alright, you can already see we have a lot more variation in our texture, but we can control this more granularly if we want. If I go to my instance and if I decrease size, you can see the pattern now, how this is breaking up the texture. Can you see, switch it?
Yep.
All right, you can
That material
also,
looks good.
yeah. All right, so with the material done, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint our landscape with some foliage. I let's just let it save. Okay, I brought in a few foliages from Mega Scans. Some grasses and some flowers. So you can go to Mega Scans and just go to home and go to 3D plans, and you can see there are a lot of categories here, and choose any of this from here. You can go for grass like this, and you can go for these wildflowers. I guess this is cotton grass, but yeah, I think you get the idea. All right. Oh, this texture still looks a little bit stretched. Let's try and fix that. This should fix it. Yeah, looks much better now. Okay, let's add the foliages now. I'm going to go to the foliage mode from here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop some foliages from my mega scans. Just going to drag and drop these here. It's just going to create, yeah. All right. So grab these and grab some of these and grab these as well. All right. So let's paint. Oh, these are too big. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove them. You can press shift and left click to remove them. So I'm just going to have them all selected, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down and change the scale of these. So I'm going to set it to 0.2 and 0.3. So you can actually do a range, so it's going to randomize. All right, so let's start painting. This might look something like this. You can also increase the density from here. Go up top and increase the paint density. So it's going to make it more dense. So I'm just going to paint this small area for now. We don't need the entire area. So something like this. Maybe if I increase the KUU, so let's make it 150. Is going to make it even more dense. Yeah. So something like this looks good. And let's paint some. Let's paint some flowers. Well, this is way too much. Okay, this looks fine. All right. Before we proceed, it's always best to set up our camera first, because we don't need to work more than what our camera is seeing. So let's just add in a level sequence. I'm just going to go to my cinematics folder and just call it battle underscore scene. Okay, I'm just going to add my camera here and make it anamorphic. Set this to 2 and my crop to 2.39. All right, and also I'm going to change my lens to 85 millimeters so it looks nice and cinematic. Something like this. So let's just keyframe this camera for now. Alright, so this is the area that we're going to be working on. So I'm just going to paint this area. Select all these, select these. Make the brush size a little bit bigger. Just paint this area. Alright, looks good enough. Alright, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in a bunch of these mannequins. Also, you can and to just ground your characters. cool little trick to know. If you have something just floating like this, just select it and press on end. It's going to snap to the ground. So let's make an army of these. Let's select these again. Sometimes it does not snap to the ground, so you might need to manually adjust this. Let's copy a few more.
And doesn't work multiple values, right?
Now, sometimes even if you have a single object and the normals don't match, like it
Hmm.
might it might make it like float like this. So what I'm going to do is just ground them so it looks believable. Okay, let's give these mannequins some colors. Oh, as you can see, I accidentally brought a few mannequins here that I didn't want to bring in. Just going to get rid of these. Sure. And I'm going to select all the mannequins on this other side. I'm just going to go to the characters, mannequins, materials, then instances. I already created a red version of these mannequins, so I'm just going to slap this on into here, this here. As you can see, this changed the color of the mannequins. So this looks like this guy is uh fight, like preparing for a battle against all these guys.
They're the bad guys, huh?
Yeah, red bad, yeah. All right, doesn't look too bad. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep these organized for now. Add a folder just like this. So these are going to be all in a folder. Uh I'm just going to select it and rename this into red menu. So all the red menus are here. All right. So, okay, let's fix some of the lighting in the shot. So I'm just going to go to our camera and maybe fix up this shot. This. Then I'm going to press Control L. Just move the sun. Yeah, this looks good. Okay, one thing to note, I didn't turn on the volumetric fog. So you can see it just adds a little bit of volume to the whole scene. All right. Then what I'm going to do is just bring in a post-process volume and set this to unbound and do some tweaks here. I'm going to change the woo method to convolutional, set it to 3. This looks way too much. Maybe something like this. Okay, this works. Yeah, perfect. And while I'm here, I'm also going to set the focus to bring in a debug plane. set the focus here. All right, looks pretty good to me. Right. We can also, as you can see, we don't have too much going on the background. What we can do is we can bring in a HDRI here. Just
What is
quickly,
that?
this is the HDRI volume we talked about on the last episode. We talked about this HDRI volume, if you remember.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hey, I was going to choose this one. Quickly go back to my camera and maybe increase the size of this to 200, maybe 500. Then I'm just going to play with the rotation just a bit. Just going to set this to 4. Yeah, this doesn't look too bad. 7. Let's add some trees over here, so it doesn't look too empty. Let's add some trees. For the trees, I'm going to be using this Mega Scans European Black Walder. You can get this from the marketplace. This is free. What I'm going to do is just click on this and add. While the tree was downloading, I made some adjustments to the scene. I moved the props over just a little bit, but yeah. Okay, let's see our trees. All right. Okay, I'm just going to bring them in as static meshes because I'm not going to paint them for now. Just going to go to my camera view, have it pinned. Doesn't look too bad. Just going to try something. Let's see if it works. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We have some nice shadows going on. Something like this. Yeah, this looks nice. Alright, let's fix some of our mannequins. They are into the ground. Let's just fix these up. Doesn't look too bad. Alright, I'm just going to grab some rocks from the Megascans library. Uh, See if I have some. Just going to grab this, and I'm going to grab these and some other rocks as well. That's too much. I'm just going to decrease the density. Okay, let's review our scene. Okay, this is pretty static for now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some animations so it looks lively. So I'm just going to bring this many in. So I'm just going to get rid of the control root for now. Okay, for the animations, I'm going to be using a website called Mixamo. I'm just going to bring in a simple walk. Then we're going to have to retarget this to fit our mannequin skeleton. So let's do just that. If I go to my animation, we can see we have our animation, but we need this for our mannequin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a free targeter and go to the animation and go to the IK rigs. So we're going to need to create IK rigs for this. So I'm going to create one for the Mixamo and I'm going to select the skeleton we just brought in. It's called standard rock. Okay, first things first, we're going to set the hip as the retarget root. Then I'm going to select all of the spines, then create a chain. This name spine. The naming scheme is very important, so you have to keep that in mind because we're going to need to put the same names for the both the mannequin and the mixable character for this to work. Just keep that in mind. So I'm just going to hold this head. Now that. I'm just going to go to the shoulder and I'm just going to do this. Hold this left arm and then create one for the hand, left hand, create for the thumb, index, the middle, ring, then the pinky, then onto the right shoulder. I'm going to select it until the forearm, call it right arm, then do it for the hand. I'm going to do the same for the thumb, right index, middle,
Don't we have any other short getting our animation into Unreal Engine 4 mannequin? Oh, sorry, Unreal Engine 5 mannequin.
yeah, there were other methods of doing this, but I'm just trying to keep this as simple as possible. There are other shortcuts as well, but you have to have a retargeting rig created for that. Uh,
Okay.
and I can show you some of the retargeting rig that Unreal comes with. If you go to the characters and then mannequins and then go to the rigs, you can see they already created
Yeah,
a rig.
already a rig and a retargeter already.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this only works for metahuman to metahuman to many and many to metahuman, but for custom rigs, this is the way to go.
We need to manually create our rigs, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I'm just going to call it left leg, then go base and right leg. Alright, that should do it for our Mixamo character. Now we need to do the same thing for the mannequin. So let me go back to the animation and the retargeter. And I'm just going to go here and create another rig and call it many. I'm just going to select the SCAM many. I'm going to call the pelvis, set to target root, then select all the spines, call it spine, neck and the head, call it head. Now we go to lower arm, call it left arm. Alright, let's see. Okay, and then I'm going to select the hand and call this hand. Grab all the bones from the index, call it left index. The bones put the middle, call it middle, thumb, and then the pinky, ring. Okay, now for the legs. Right leg, and the left leg. Alright. Okay, we're done setting up the rigs, and then we need to go to our retargeting again and just make a retargeter. I'm just going to call it Mixamo too many. Alright, let's go. Now we're going to select the source asset as the Pixamo, and the target should be our mannequin. And you should get something like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the pose so the poses actually match. So what I'm going to do here from the bones, I'm going to click on show all hierarchy. Then I can click on them. should do it. So, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the offset just a little bit so we can see them both clearly.
What happened to the left leg from Mixamo character?
Oh, I think I forgot to fix that. Let's fix that real quick. Then I'll run the retargeter again, change the.
Is it game-like in first place? Default?
Yeah, this came like this. Let's check. Yeah, doesn't look too bad. Okay, this is okay for what we're going to do. Alright, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to export this animation and just put it here inside the retargeter. Just going to call it many standard raw. So from now on, if you have already created the rig, you can just bring in any Mixamo animation and you can retarget those animations directly. You don't need to create the retargeting rig again. So yeah. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this many, search for the animation we just created, or retargeted I mean. All right. This looks okay. Okay, then I'm just going to get out of my camera for now. Click on here. Pin this. I'm just going to give this a transform. Do this. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad.
And this looks
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, I think we just need a idle animation so it looks okay and doesn't look so. Oh, snaps. Okay, let's do something like this.
Hmm. It's okay.
Yeah, it does look okay, but let's see it through the camera. Okay, it doesn't look too bad. All right, I think we can work with this. So this, I think, yeah, yeah. All right, I think I'm just going to rename this shot walk. Sorry, uh, confront. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate. Oh, my bad. I'm just going to copy and paste this camera. Okay, and I'm just going to rename this one. Just call it walk in, and I'm just going to bind this front to here, and the let's move the walk in because I want something like this. Right, I'm just going to set the keyframe. All right, perfect. Let's have a look. Change this to walk in.
Damn, it looks badass.
All right, nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring that fog component, the easy fog component. I'm just going to do a simple wind effect. So what I'm going to do is just grab the transform for this, grab it here, and just,
You're adding moving fog?
yep.
Oh,
So what I'm going to do is something like this.
damn.
Let's start this fog later on. Let's make this a little bit longer. Oh, my bad. You let him sit there for a while. Maybe a few more seconds. This is starting off too fast, I think. Hmm. This should do it. Nice. So let's take care of all of these manis because they don't have any animation to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all of these mannequins and just give them a custom animation asset. Just maybe the idle animation. Yeah, this should be fine. Oh, and one thing, only going to notice this animation once you simulate it. So, because I've added it through the details panel, that is why you're just going to see this only when I simulate this. So, you can see they have movement now. So, when you're rendering something in Unreal Engine, it automatically goes to the simulation mode. So, you don't need to worry about the animations for them. All right, moving on. You have all the animations for mannequins. Then I think I'm just going to go for a third cut here. Yeah, just grab this. I'm going to duplicate this camera again and rename this one. The red manis, I guess. I'm just going to I'm just going to create a folder. Just keep them so that call it camera and then drag and drop them here. All right, perfect. Okay, let's go to this camera. I'm going to delete the keyframe here. I'm maybe just going to show a few of these manis, I'd say. Something like this. The focus. All right, perfect. Also, the glow for this looks too bit too much. I'm just going to go to the bloom, the convolution. Okay, this seems alright. I actually brought in a few assets just to populate the scene. I'm going to. I'm just going to bring in a flag actually. So let's put it flag and then yeah, something like this. Yeah, something like this. I just added the wind effect through a I'm just going to show you guys. I just added the wind effect through a simple grass wind plugged into the world position offset. That's controlling the wind. And I just created this instance to control the wind. So yeah. Right, let's take a look how it looks. It is going to be your first scene. This looks a little bit weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the cameras and start the fog moving from here. Alright. Yeah, this looks good. Right, I think this is going to be our little cinematic. So let's move on to rendering. So what I'm going to do for the rendering is we need to go to the plugin section and search for the movie render queue. And click on the additional classes as well. And it's going to ask you to restart. So just restart the engine, save everything.
2 hours later.
So after restarting, we're going to have to go back to the sequence that we created. Then I'm going to click on this render button. So this is going to bring up our movie render queue. So in here, click on the unsaved config. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a PNG format from the JPEG format. So PNGs are in higher quality than JPEG, so I opt for PNGs. And for the rendering, it should be default rendering. Then I'm going to add anti-aliasing in here. So I'm just going to look for anti-aliasing, and I'm just going to bump up this spatial sample count to 8 and the temporal sample count to 8, and just I'm going to click on the override anti-aliasing. Also, I like to use some console variables. So in here you can add some console variables. So I'm just going to show you the console variables that I'm going to use. So for the console variables, I'm going to use all of these from the I'm just going to link you the forum here, so you guys can also use these. So I'm just going to copy over these commands. Just remember, just remember to not to copy the 0 as well. Okay, after I've added all of these console variables, and then I'm going to save this reset so we can use it later. So I'm just calling this cinematic preset. Alright, this is all saved here. From here you can choose your output resolution and what frame rate you're going for. So we did 30 fps, so we're going to select 30 fps from here. And in here you can go for 4K, 8K, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a new folder in my project and call it maybe renders or render. Then I'm just going to okay, next step. Then this should start rendering. All right, it's rendering.
2,000 years later.
Okay, let's have a look. We have all of our renders in this image sequence. So we're going to want to make a video out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop onto Blender, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the video sequencer, and from there I'm just going to click on add the image sequence. Then I'm going to head over to my project where I have all of my renders and click A to select all of these frames, and we can see the total number of frames is 394. I'm just going to put this in here. So the start is from 1 and the end is going to be 394. All right, so from here I'm just going to go to the output. I'm going to check the settings. The resolution is okay, it's 1080p, and we're going to change the frame rate to 30 because we shot in 30 fps. And from here we're going to change the file format to ffmpeg video, and from here you're going to find encoding. I'm going to set it to mpeg4 and the output quality to perpetually lossless and the encoding speed to the slowest. This is going to give us the best quality with a good file size. So I think that's it. And then we have our output folder where we want to output this. So I'm just going to head over to my project folder. I'm just going to set this as the folder, and you can give it a name. I'm just going to call it battle scene dot mp4. Hit accept, and then I'm going to click on render animation. Then it's just going to render the animation, and after it's done, if I go and check, go here, I should see a file. Yeah, you should see a file here that's in mp4. Now you have your video. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, just hit like and subscribe. If you have any questions, just comment them below, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.